from the edge of the lunatic fringe. It's the Raleigh James Show.
Mystery in what you're saying, and that's that, as you know, the Supreme Court dismissed some of the cases, the Donofrio case and one of the Phil Berg cases, so they actually acted on it. They said they would not hear it. Now, are we to assume that they didn't have the conferences and did this, that Scalia was not in these conferences that they dismissed? I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is my understanding that there were no conferences.
So how could they dismiss?
I don't know what happened there.
Right.
I mean, if there would have been conferences, clearly Justice Scalia would have known about it. I mean, can you imagine a judge sitting through a conference with eight other judges and not remembering a word about it? It's impossible.
Well, that's why this is so. What you're saying here is bigger than anything I've heard yet, because in this case, the Supreme Court turned down these cases as having had them in a private conference and agreeing not to hear them. But what we're saying is when Mr. Berg or Mr. Donofrio or whatever got a notice that, in fact, these justices never heard it.
Yeah, they've never seen the case.
Well, that's huge.
Yes, I mean, it's the biggest scandal in the history of the judiciary system of this country. And what I would ask your listeners to do, everybody, I mean, you have to call and email, well, you can't email, call and fax and write to the Supreme Court and demand that there will be an action here, that there is investigation, and that finally Justice Roberts himself make a decision to get information from Obama. I mean, Justice Roberts on his own can issue a stay whereby Biden becomes president pro tempore according to the 20th Amendment until Obama qualifies, and give Obama, I don't know, he can give him 24 hours. In my opinion, that should be sufficient. But if he doesn't want to give him 24 hours, he wants to give him more leeway, he can give him 2 days, 3 days to provide necessary documents, or at the very minimum, Senate consent to provide such documents like certified copy of the original birth certificate, passports, school registrations, and so forth, so that the Supreme Court and the whole country will see the documents, will see the evidence. Now, we don't trust anybody. We don't trust the president because he lied and has concealed the records. We don't trust the Supreme Court because the justices had no clue about the cases that were brought there. And by the way, I don't believe the Congress, the congressmen and senators knew what is going on, because we're now sending certified mail letters to congressmen and senators. And what I'm telling my followers, I have this letter to Holder, this 164-page dossier of suspected criminal activity, and I'm asking them to download it and send it with a cover letter to each and every attorney general and every senator and congressman. And I'm telling them, when you send it certified mail with return receipt, postcard, and do it restricted delivery, whereby only the congressman or only the senator or only attorney general can sign, not his aide and not his secretary that might be a gatekeeper that would throw it in the garbage and send the citizens a boilerplate response. No, we need to see the signature of the actual congressman or senator or justices or attorney generals or U.S. attorneys, because we don't trust the system. We've seen those clerks in the courts, we've seen those aides to congressmen and senators acting as gatekeepers, and this is a very serious problem. And the first thing, of course, we need to remove illegitimate Obama out of office, but after that we need to clean up this mess. There have to be channels where maybe once a week the congressmen, the senators, and the judiciary meet with the citizens of the country for a certain number of hours and answer the questions where there isn't a wall of gatekeepers, of handlers that keeps our elected and appointed officials away from the citizens and available and accessible only to the lobbyists,
right,
only to the power elite. This really ruined the democracy of this country. It's ruining the republic. It's ruining the Constitution. It instilled the rule of fraud in this country, and this wall needs to be broken immediately. And if those law enforcement officers like Attorney General Holder don't perform their duties, if Holder does not act upon this, which is the biggest scandal in history of this country. If he sits in his office doing nothing, then Holder himself should be removed from his office immediately, and he should be tried for aiding and abetting massive fraud of American citizens and aiding and abetting treason, because Obama is a foreigner. Keeping him in the White House, this is treason, and anybody that knowingly is aiding and abetting this is liable, including justices of the Supreme Court. They have no right to be silent on this issue. They have no right to refuse to answer to the citizens of this country. And I'm asking your readers, please, you keep writing to them every day on a daily basis, to Chief Justice Roberts, CC to all the other justices, CC to Attorney General Holder, to Director of FBI Mueller, to your congressmen, to your senators. Just prepare one letter and make a bunch of copies and keep mailing them and faxing them. And if your congressmen and senators have email addresses, emailing them on a daily basis, and you demand answers. They owe you the answers. It's your country. It doesn't belong to foreign interests. It doesn't belong to lobbyists. It's your country. And if you don't want it taken away from you, you better act. I kind of carried the torch, but I cannot do it alone. I need each and every citizen of this country rising and being appalled and being outraged at what's been going on and demanding action immediately.